In a laboratory in Beijing sits a chip smaller than your fingernail, 11 millimeters long, thin as a sliver of glass. And this year, that tiny piece of crystal did something the world's top engineers said was still a decade away. It moved data through the air at more than 100 gigabits per second, fast enough to download a full 8K movie in seconds. Fast enough to make the 5G phone in your pocket look like a relic. The moment the research was published in the journal Nature, headlines around the world asked the same panicked question: is 5G already dead? The honest answer is stranger than yes or no, and it involves a war most people never realized was being fought. So let's open this chip up, because the closer you look, the bigger this story gets. To understand why engineers are stunned, you need to know a secret about your phone. The invisible world around you is organized like a highway. Radio signals travel in lanes called frequencies. Your phone drives in one lane, around 3 gigahertz. Satellites drive in a much faster lane, near 30 gigahertz. And the futuristic stuff, holograms, ultra-high-speed links, lives in extreme lanes above 100 gigahertz, where the waves are so fine and fragile that using them is like writing with light. But there has always been a catch, and it has haunted engineers for decades. Each lane needs its own radio hardware. Different chips, different antennas, different designs. Covering the full highway has traditionally required around 9 separate radio systems. 9. That is why coverage breaks between cities and villages, and why every new technology needs new equipment bolted onto old networks. Engineers accepted this as a law of physics. It wasn't. In August 2025, a team led by scientists from Peking University and the City University of Hong Kong published the proof. One chip, every lane. Their thumbnail-sized device covers the entire usable wireless spectrum, from half a gigahertz all the way up to 115 gigahertz. All 9 radio systems collapsed into a single sliver of material, able to jump between any lane on the highway, instantly. And the way it works sounds like science fiction. The chip does not process radio signals the old way. It converts them into light. Signals come in as radio waves, get transformed into optical signals racing through the chip, and are converted back on the way out. By borrowing the speed of light itself, the chip unlocks bandwidth that ordinary electronics cannot touch. That is how you get more than 100 gigabits per second, roughly 100 times faster than the peak speeds most 5G users ever actually see. Now here is your first twist. This chip is not a lone miracle. It is one piece of something much larger, and the other pieces are even stranger. Outside Beijing, researchers have reported running the world's first experimental 6G network using terahertz waves, those extreme upper lanes, with laboratory speeds approaching 1 terabit per second. In Nanjing, a facility called Purple Mountain Laboratories set a wireless record of over 200 gigabits per second years ago. Back in 2020, while the rest of the world was still arguing about 5G towers, China quietly launched the world's first satellite dedicated to testing 6G from orbit. Add more than $1 billion in dedicated funding, and over 40 universities working in coordination, and the picture sharpens. This is not a lab making headlines. This is a nation running a program, which forces the real question: why? Why pour this much money into a technology when most of the world is still waiting for 5G to feel impressive? The answer is where this story stops being about phones. But first you need to see what 6G actually does, because it is not just speed. At these speeds, with almost zero delay, a surgeon could guide a robot operating on a patient in another city and feel every movement as if their hands were inside the room. Video calls could become life-sized holograms. And 6G is designed to do something no network has ever done: sense the world. Because ultra-high frequencies reflect off objects, the network itself can act like radar, detecting movement, shapes, even breathing. The same invisible waves that carry your messages could map the room around you. Weave satellites directly into that network, and the dead zones of Earth, oceans, deserts, mountains disappear. A network that fast, that aware, and that complete is not an upgrade. It is territory. And territory is the real story here, because we have all watched this exact war before. Every generation of wireless has crowned a ruler. The early mobile era made kings of European giants. 4G was built largely on American terms, and the app economy it unlocked, smartphones, streaming, social media, poured trillions of dollars into American companies. Then came 5G, and for the first time, a Chinese company, Huawei, stood at the front of the pack, holding a massive share of critical patents and building networks across the planet. You remember what happened next. Sanctions, bans, chips cut off, equipment ripped out of networks across entire countries. The 5G era did not just upgrade the world's phones, it split the world's trust. That is what makes this moment electric. 6G is the rematch, and it has already started. The standards that will define it are being negotiated right now, in rooms where engineers from rival nations fight over which inventions get written into the official rulebook. Whoever's technology makes it in collects patent royalties on billions of devices for a decade. Whoever falls behind pays rent on the future instead of owning it. So when a Chinese team publishes a world-first chip in Nature, it is science, yes, but it is also a message delivered to every negotiating table on Earth. We are ahead, plan accordingly. Which brings us back to the question in the title. Is 5G already dead? No. And the reason why is the most important twist in this video. That record-breaking chip is a prototype. A brilliant one, but a laboratory device, years from mass production. The official 6G standard does not even exist yet. The rulebook is scheduled to be finished near the end of this decade, with the first commercial networks expected around 2030. Your phone is not obsolete. Huge parts of the world are still waiting for full 5G coverage to arrive at all. But the question itself is aimed at the wrong decade. Asking whether 5G is dead is like standing in 2005, holding a flip phone and asking whether it still makes calls. It did, perfectly. And it did not matter, because in laboratories far away, the foundations of the smartphone era were already being poured. The companies that understood that went on to own the next 20 years. The ones that laughed went extinct. That is what is happening right now, in Beijing, in Hong Kong, in Nanjing, and in rival labs across America, Europe, Japan, and South Korea. The 2030s are being built today, invisibly, in slivers of crystal smaller than your fingernail. The question was never whether your phone is dead. The question is who will own the air your next phone breathes. So let me hear from you. Be honest. Did you ever actually notice a difference when your phone switched from 4G to 5G? And if you suddenly had 100 gigabits per second in your pocket, what would you even do with it? Drop your answers in the comments. I read every one, and if this gave you a new way of seeing the tech race, subscribing takes 2 seconds and genuinely helps this channel grow. Because here is the truth worth remembering when you put your phone down tonight. The most important battle of the 2030s has already begun. It is silent, it is invisible, and it is being fought over the one territory no map has ever shown, the air itself.